Good morning, guys. Today we're finally dynoing the R34, and I'm still gonna call it 400 horsepower in 2 days, even though later on today we might find out it's not gonna be 400 horsepower or it might be more. And even though we've kind of been working on it for now, this is the 4th day. And the reason for that is just if we had all the time in the world and we were just focusing on that car, it would have been done in 2 days. And I know that if any of you guys take on this challenge, you'll probably get it done in 2 days.
He's being kind to me. I made a mistake on the exhaust and we're still here fixing it.
Let me show you guys something. Now, I didn't want to talk about this because I love Sammy and he's an amazing guy, but when we were making the actual downpipe for the 34, this thing here, let's see, starting to look really nice, right? I said to him, that kind of looks like it's upside down. Like, this is the bottom of the turbo, and that's supposed to be the top of the turbo, right? And then we looked at it and like, yeah, the flange did look upside down. I'm like, hang on, let's just double check it with the Skyline factory one. And then not only was the flange welded on upside down, but back to front as well. So the flange has, it won't work because where it's welded here, this part here, that's supposed to go flush against the turbo. And yeah, anyways, so we made do. We called up a couple friends and it turned out one of them did have a turbo elbow, an aftermarket one. So we went for that option, and then by the time we got here and we bolted it all on and everything, it had one of those separated internal gate things. So it has like an external gate, kind of screamer pipe. We were hoping it was gonna be super quiet. We started it up and it's just a massive exhaust leak, super obnoxious and loud. So we're just gonna swap that out and put the factory one in there. And I know for a fact that that will limit us 50 horsepower because, as you guys know with my 33 in Japan, is the moment we switched out the factory turbo elbow for the Tomei one, the really big one, like the one we were making, we gained another 50 horsepower, like easily. And then it was like free flowing so much that we could just keep going more and more and more. So, factory one's going back on. We're going to the dyno in like an hour. Time to make some boost. Time to get this thing dialed in and driving tomorrow. Let's do it. All right, so I've got her running, bringing her up to temp. I changed some settings in the ECU to get it idling much leaner. We're sitting at 0.9899 lambda, which is exactly where we want it to be. Ready to go to the dyno soon. Just got to check the rest of my fluids, oil, water, make sure that's fully bled, and then we're good to go. All right, scenery has changed. We're at Advanced Motorsports with Luke, the owner there, operating the dyno. We're gonna be dialing in, getting the car tuned here today. Such a champion because he's doing this on a Saturday when he normally would not be working. He's got a bunch of really cool cars here. This dyno room is insane. It's completely sealed, soundproof, and it feels like you're in a wind tunnel in here. Stopping for lunch with Sammy Boy, and I got a sausage roll this time and a Lemington. It really is the small things that you miss the most, like the things you take for granted when you move countries. It's crazy how much of these I've been eating every time I visit Australia. I just down everything. Just coming back now to see how the dyno tune's going, and check out this thing. That's a turbo and a half on an LS. So Luke is currently dialing in the fuel map and getting everything perfect with the new injectors. And he's been doing, like, you know, loading it up to like 5,000 RPM and all the different like RPM levels to get the whole entire table even across the board. And the car just sounds absolutely mental. It sounds amazing. We can have a quick little squiz at his screen there. And you can see that he's been editing that table in the 3D, 4D one on the right hand side. And then everything in blue is everything he's been editing and making changes to match the new injectors and turbo. It sounds amazing. The moment he does a full pull, I'll record it, but it sounds super responsive. And it's got a lot of like exhaust note changes as well. Oh man, I'm way too excited. Guys, we're getting close. Okay, time for another pull. We just had to make some changes to the wastegate. Hopefully we get the results we're looking for. We're looking at 332 right now. Hopefully you can see that. That was about 18 PSI of boost too, so perfect. Doing a pull right now. Wow, it actually feels really responsive. I see what you mean there, how it like levels out and holds and rolls over really nice. That's going to be so good on the track. Oh my god, it sounds awesome. So here's the new dyno graph, which shows that the max we made was 334. And you can see at the top here where he's got it set to kind of roll over and keep the power on. And this is the previous one that we had with the factory turbo, not with the Mumba one or anything. And you can see here that we only made 246 horsepower. And you can see as well, like it just kind of like levels out at the top there. So the only main difference with these two tunes is that we added injectors, fuel pump, and a high flow turbo. We didn't even change the turbo elbow coming out of the turbo because we had obviously the issues and we had to put the factory one on. So that's our big restriction here. We would probably make 400 quite comfortably if we had like a Tomei high flow one on there, or the one that we were planning to make. So we can come back another time, make 400 after we replace that turbo elbow with something high flowing very easily. It feels so good to be driving this thing again. You guys have no idea. And for it to have like the power that it's got and how smooth it comes on. Oh man, it's so good. Oh, I cannot wait to drift this tomorrow. I am currently on my way to an auto parts store to try and get some car wash for my car. Urgently needs a wash and it closes in 7 minutes. Hopefully I can get there on time. This crazy cat. Hey. Exactly what this dirty girl needed. Some gear to get her cleaned up. Thanks, Super Cheap. Sorry that I walked through the doors 2 minutes before you closed, but I urgently, oh my gosh, I urgently needed to give my car a bath for tomorrow's drift event. Just got home, gonna unpack the new car wash kit, give the car a really good clean. I mean, I'm not gonna do a full detail and buff it or anything crazy like that because I am drifting this tomorrow, so it just needs to look clean because it's just gonna get dirty and covered in dirt and needs another clean right after the event. But I want it to look good. I want to get all the dust off it. Hey, look at this, it's feral. So we'll give it a good scrub, make it shine and sparkle again, and yeah, let's get to it. There we go. The 34 is now nice and clean and ready for the drift event tomorrow. In all honesty, I'm pretty nervous about tomorrow because essentially I've got to be fully sending the 34 at Archerfield Drift Park. For me, the 34 has a lot of sentimental value. It's like my baby. It's the car that revitalized me and got me back into the car scene for good. So many friendships have been like founded on it, and just by working on it, going for drives, and all these things that have happened in my life from, you know, when I was a teenager up until now, this car has something to do with. So for me to tomorrow break the car really bad would probably be the worst case scenario of what I'm imagining. But here's the tricky thing. I need to make sure that I am driving well, and for me to drive well means I can't be fearful or worrying about hurting my car. So tomorrow I'm gonna flick a switch in my brain. I'm gonna tell myself, you know what, Sam, you love this car, it has a lot of sentimental value, but it's also being used as a drift car, and I wanna drive, and I wanna drive well, and I wanna learn. So if I end up crashing this thing, it's okay, we can fix it, And if we crash it in such a way that it can't fix it, yeah, it's sad. But we can always reshell and do something better with the heart of the 34. And I know that's kind of something sad to talk about, and that is definitely not what my intentions are tomorrow. I am not going to crash this. Like, that is not on my intention list. But if it happens, it happens. You know, someone else could run into me. Who knows? So anyways, enough of that talk. Let's go inside and wrap this vlog up. Okay, so today went really well, all things considered. But I felt like I've let you guys down a little bit because I didn't deliver. My title said 400 horsepower in 2 days. Let me explain why we technically did reach our goal, but we didn't at the same time. So the car right now, as it sits, is 100% capable of doing 400 horsepower and more at the dyno, except for one thing. The factory exhaust, like turbo outlet pipe that comes from that weird bell mouth kind of flange on the back of the turbo down to the 3-inch exhaust. That's the factory one right now. And as you know, we made mistakes, we were stressed out, and it prevented us from being able to make the full 3-inch exhaust up to that point of the back of the turbo. We could only do it from the 3-bolt flange after that little elbow that comes off the back of the turbo. And that's so restrictive. As you guys know, in Japan, I put the Tomei high flow one on there, and that made a 60 horsepower difference without touching the tune. So the moment you get some flow off the back of the turbo on an RB, it just sings. So yeah, there's proof there. You guys know that. And right now we're 70 horsepower away from the goal. Put that on there, we're literally at our 400 horsepower mark. The fact is the turbo just couldn't flow as well as it needed to. And then because of that, we couldn't add in some timing that we wanted, and yeah, the list goes on, but that is the key factor and the only thing that's preventing us from reaching our goal. So technically the car is at 400 horsepower capable level, we just need to change that one thing. And we'll do that at a later date, and we'll go back to the dyno and prove that. But for now, I'm happy. 334 horsepower is awesome. We did a stellar job. Sammy helped out so much, thanks heaps, mate. And tomorrow's gonna be a blast, driving, drifting, learning how to drive my 34 with knuckles, and I've never driven a Skyline with knuckles before. Why did I do all of this? I have no idea, and I've never driven on Archerfield Drift Park. Like, I'm crazy. Anyways guys, thanks heaps for watching. I can't wait to see some of you tomorrow at the Drift Park, and I will see you in the next one. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Ja mata ne. Good?
Okay. どうだ？どうだ？